American soccer fans, welcome to episode 139 of the USA Soccer Cast. We are bringing you everything about the U.S. national teams, the players, the leagues, and everything else that impacts the game of soccer in these United States. I'm Donald Wine. It has happened. Yesterday, U.S. Soccer announced that Gregg Berhalter had been let go as U.S. men's national team head coach. We figured it was coming, but it has finally happened. The announcement came after a comprehensive review of the program by sporting director Matt Crocker in the wake of the United States crashing out of Copa America in the group stage. There have been a lot of pressure in recent days from fans, media, and three of U.S. Soccer supporters groups. Of course, I'm part of the American Outlaws. They put out a statement who publicly called for a change at the head coaching position. There are a lot of statements out there from U.S. Soccer. Let me get to each of them. First, from U.S. Soccer President Cindy Parlow-Cone. In U.S. Soccer's announcement, she says, quote, "I would like to thank Gregg for his hard work and dedication to U.S. Soccer and our men's national team. We are now focused on working with our sporting director, Matt Crocker, and leveraging his experience at the highest levels of the sport to ensure we find the right person to lead the USMNT into a new era of on-field success," end quote. Matt Crocker, of course, the sporting director, has a big job ahead of him. He also had a statement that said, quote, "We are deeply grateful to Gregg for his commitment the past 5 years to the men's national team and to U.S. soccer. Gregg has earned the respect of everyone within our organization and has played a pivotal role in bringing together a young team and moving the program forward. We wish Gregg all the best in his future endeavors, and we know he will find success in his next coaching position. Our immediate focus is on finding a coach who can maximize our potential as we continue to prepare for the 2026 World Cup, and we already have begun our search process," end quote. The current plan for Matt Crocker is to have a coach in place by the September international window, which will see the U.S. take on Canada in Kansas City and then New Zealand in Cincinnati. Berhalter was hired as U.S. men's national team head coach in December 2018, with the goals of bringing the team back to the World Cup after its disastrous failure to qualify in 2018. Despite struggling through qualifying, the team managed to clinch qualification on the final match day to the 2022 World Cup. There, they finished second in a group that contained England, Wales, and Iran, went on to lose to the Netherlands in the round of 16. After the World Cup, controversy surrounded Gregg Berhalter in a public spat that involved the family of U.S. men's national team midfielder Gio Reyna, which led to him being placed on paid administrative leave in January 2023, while an investigation was opened into domestic violence allegations against Berhalter while he was in college. The U.S. men's national team operated with interim coaches, first led by Anthony Hudson and then later by B.J. Callahan. After U.S. Soccer hired Matt Crocker as their sporting director in May 2023, Crocker announced the rehire of Gregg Berhalter in June 2023. Gregg Berhalter coached 74 games for the national team during his tenure, managing 44 wins, 17 losses, and 13 draws. He led the team to 2 CONCACAF Nations League titles in 2021 and 2024, as well as a win in the 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup. However, outside of CONCACAF, his record was 10 wins, 7 losses, and 8 draws. The failure of the men's national team to survive the group stage at the 2024 Copa America prompted U.S. Soccer to put out a statement that said, "Our tournament performance fell short of our expectations. We must do better. We will be conducting a comprehensive review of our performance in Copa America and how best to improve the team and results as we look towards the 2026 World Cup," end quote. Ultimately, that review has led to Berhalter's departure. While Berhalter had a solid record against arch rivals Mexico, fans had long soured on the team's performance against other top teams. While the team had several draws against top 15 opponents, the U.S. men's national team only had 2 wins against top 20 opponents not named Mexico, Iran, and Morocco, both in 2022. Fans were also upset with the process by which Berhalter was hired in 2018 and the similar process by which he was rehired in June 2023. With the exit from Copa America, fans felt that the team's progress had stagnated and that a new direction was desperately needed. And it seems like at this point, the Federation has decided the same. We obviously have a ton more to discuss with the fallout of Gregg Berhalter being fired as U.S. men's national team head coach. More on the way after this quick break. Hey everyone, are you looking for the latest gear for your U.S. national teams, Major League Soccer, the NWSL, or any other team in the world of soccer? The USA Soccer Cast has affiliate partnerships that are ready to help you out. head to linktree.com/USA Soccercast, where we have links to Homage, Fanatics, the MLS store, and Breaking Team. You can get the jersey, shirt, hat, or accessory you're looking for to support your team, while also saving some money and helping this show in the process. Again, linktree.com/USA Soccercast. Click on the links and get your gear. And we thank you as always for your support of the show. We're back. We're discussing the end of Gregg Berhalter's tenure as U.S. men's national team head coach. Shortly after the official announcement last night from U.S. Soccer, Gregg Berhalter released his own statement, and I want to read that as well. He said, quote, "I would like to thank the U.S. Soccer Federation for entrusting me to lead this team for the past 5 years. Representing our country is a tremendous honor, and I'm proud of the identity we have built on and off the field. It was very gratifying watching this team improve over the years, and I remain grateful for the lifetime bonds created with our players, coaches, and staff members. The Copa America result is extremely disappointing, and I take full responsibility for our performance. Our approach and process was always focused on the 2026 World Cup, and I remain confident that this group will be one of the great stories in 2026, end quote. I think that's a very classy statement. Gregg's been put through the ringer with all of this, and he has accepted his responsibility. He may no longer have the job, but I want to take a moment to thank him for his service with the national team. People may not like this, but in the modern era of the U.S. men's national team, of the coaches that were in charge for more than 10 games, he has the highest winning percentage ever, 68.2%. He finished with 44 wins, 17 losses, and 13 draws. The team's win against Bolivia in their first Copa match moved Berhalter past Bob Bradley for third most wins all time among all U.S. men's national team coaches. He had some big moments as head coach. He won the first ever CONCACAF Nations League in what is one of the greatest matches in the history of the U.S.-Mexico rivalry. He later, that summer in 2021, took what many call the B- team to the Gold Cup and won that again over Mexico. He became the first coach in the USA-Mexico rivalry to have 3 rivalry wins in 1 year since 1937. Fans like to use the fact that Mexico is in some of its most down days as a program ever against him. But I don't care how terrible Mexico is. I really don't. They have been consistently ranked as one of the top teams in CONCACAF. In fact, CONCACAF coefficient still lists them as the best team in the region. And they've been consistently in the top 20 in the world rankings. We haven't lost to them since 2019. That's not a negative. Anyone who knows me believes me when I tell you all that I don't care if UNC basketball or Ohio State football loses every single game for the next 400 years. I will always want to beat them in everything, from basketball to football to badminton to the crab leg section at a Vegas buffet. Spades, it doesn't matter. Some of us out there remember when it felt like outside of World Cup qualifying, we could never beat Mexico. Now it feels at times we may never lose again. That's a wonderful feeling. You always want to beat your rival, and it should never be viewed as a negative. Berhalter led the team to another Nations League title in 2024, its 3rd straight Nations League title. They're the only team to ever touch the trophy, and I hope it stays that way forever. His record in tournament play, 29-9-7. That's a 72.2% winning percentage, the highest in men's national team history. The biggest achievement for him was to get this team back to the World Cup in 2022. That was the main goal in the first cycle, and it was the youngest team ever to qualify for a World Cup. Now, just like the people who were lauding Jesse Marsch for barely getting Canada to the semifinals of Copa America despite only scoring 2 goals in the entire tournament would say, and as Clint Dempsey said on the show just the other day, the results matter. I don't care if we barely qualified for the World Cup, and really, we all but clinched with 1 match to go. The key words are there. We qualified for the World Cup. That was the goal, to get us back to the big show after missing out completely in 2018, and Gregg Berhalter did that. At the World Cup, we got out of the group unbeaten, including 2 clean sheets, the first time a men's national team had done that in a World Cup, and made it to the round of 16 where we lost to a really good Netherlands team that took Argentina to penalties in the World Cup quarterfinals and was this close to a trip to the Euros finals just yesterday, losing to England. Getting out of the group was the goal, and again, barely got out doesn't matter. We got out of the group, not losing a match. Probably should have won all 3, but still, we made it out of the group. Objective accomplished. He was the fastest coach in U.S. men's national team history to reach 30 wins. He has the record for most wins in a calendar year, and the team's rise in the FIFA rankings from when he took over to yesterday when he was fired. Look, December 2018, they were number 25 in the country. In June 2024, they were number 11. This Copa America was a huge setback, and as he mentioned in his statement, he takes full responsibility for the team's performance. It's definitely not all on him. The players and even Matt Crocker have to share in that blame. There were player mistakes. Obviously, the red card by Tim Weah didn't help. Injuries didn't help. But in the end, this team didn't get the job done. We didn't get out of the group, and that ultimately cost Gregg Berhalter his job. We needed a change, and that change has now come. So I thank Gregg Berhalter. I thank him for always being passionate about his job and this team and his desire to see this team win. It didn't always happen, but the pride was always there. He got guys fighting for the crest again and for each other. And like it or not, you have to acknowledge that and appreciate it. And he did it while a large portion of the fan base decided he should not only ever get any credit, and he did it while a large portion of the fan base decided he should not only never get any credit for the successes of this team, he was booed and chopped down online and in person at every turn. People were celebrating last night and comparing Gregg Berhalter's ouster to killing Osama bin Laden or Hitler. And that is not fair. It's not fair to Greg. It's not fair to him at all. It's not fair to these players who, as I mentioned, and as they have mentioned, share some of the blame for our setbacks. No one's saying you got to give him a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue like it's the Macy's parade because he accomplished some goals. You cannot like several things about his tenure while still thanking him for all he brought to the team. I promise you it's okay to do that. And while I thought it was time for a change, I'm also saying thank you to Gregg Berhalter. I'm wishing him all the best in his future endeavors. And I hope that all of you out there can truly put emotions aside. Really think about where we are now versus where we were on October 10th, 2017 in Couva, Trinidad and Tobago. I was at that game. I remember every single detail about it. And from that program low, I can tell you we are in a better place now than we were then. Gregg Berhalter got us back on that track. We should thank him for his service and give him some appreciation, even as he departs U.S. Soccer. So now that the path to 2026 is shortening, the questions now are, who will be the next coach? Who should be the next coach? As I mentioned in the first part of the show, U.S. Soccer Sporting Director Matt Crocker said that it's his intention to have a coach in place ready to go by the September international window, where we will see Canada on September 7th in Kansas City, and then we'll go up against New Zealand on September 10th in Cincinnati. So far, we also have an October home friendly against Panama on October 12th in Austin, and then you have the two legs of the CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinals in November. So we don't have any time to waste. In my opinion, we can't bring in another interim coach to waste the fall away. We need a coach. We need one quickly. As a fan base, I feel like we also need to be realistic, and we need to get serious about who it is we can get. We can't wait for the perfect coach to fall in our laps. We may not have a perfect coach for this type of situation. We also can't waste time by trying to get our hopes up that a major coach is going to drop everything and come in here immediately to take this program over. We need someone available and attainable who would want the job. People are saying we should go after Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, and some truly believe that those coaches will drop everything to jump across the pond to the United States to take this program over. And I'm here to tell you that while U.S. Soccer may try to make the call, and it sounds like this morning some reports are that that has happened, at least in the case of Jurgen Klopp, I would be ecstatic if one of them would be to be higher. But you cannot expect that to happen. You just can't. Money may not be an object here, but some of these coaches made enough money last year that the pay gap is going to be way too much to overcome. And you can't be mad if they say thanks, but no thanks. Some people think that the next coach can't be an MLS coach, and I also think that's garbage too. It absolutely can be an MLS coach. Doesn't necessarily mean that the coaches that I would pursue are MLS coaches, but you can't just rule out people who have experience with a unique, complicated system. I mean, we may not like the system, but it's ours. And it's unlike any other system in the world. And we still need the league to prosper and develop talent that could potentially join the core of the player pool down the line. We were getting beat by teams that had more MLS players on their roster and on the field than we did. So MLS isn't the big problem that a lot of the internet likes to dub it. Some sort of coach has to be a foreign coach with strictly European experience. And again, they don't have to be foreign. Many of you out there already know this, but no team has won the World Cup with a foreign manager. Not one. People think our system is that bad. So what makes you think we are going to be the nation to change that? Sure, having a coach that has some international experience, some national team experience would be great. But again, a foreign coach may have more of a learning curve than that of an American coach who doesn't have any big time experience because our system is unique. Our player pool is unique. And we need to recognize that. Every team that has won the World Cup has had players playing on that team in its domestic league. It's the key to our player development, and we need to find the balance here. So, after all that, you're probably asking, well, Donald, who should we bring in then? If you were in charge, what would be your criteria? And again, fair question. And it's one that I want to really think about and approach sensibly. I think there are coaches out there that can give you a balance of all that most people are looking for. You don't need a coach that's bigger than a team. You need a coach that can properly lead the team. So here's a quick list of guys that I would hope that U.S. Soccer considers when interviewing candidates for the job. David Wagner, played for the national team, has Bundesliga and Premier League experience, coached with Borussia Dortmund 2, Huddersfield Town, Schalke, Young Boys, and Norwich City. He's currently available. Pellegrino Matarazzo, current Hoffenheim coach, got Stuttgart to the Bundesliga, also was a caretaker at Nuremberg. Again, a lot of Bundesliga experience where a lot of our guys have played. Hugo Perez, former El Salvador head coach, coached in U.S. national team system for a few years, former men's national team player, and really wants the job. Also currently available. Harve Renard, he's currently the France women's coach, but is leaving after the Olympics. He was formerly the men's coach for Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Ivory Coast, twice with Zambia, Angola, and has coached several club teams in France, Africa, and Asia. Sounds like a great guy to go after, great guy to call. Marcelo Gallardo, coached at Nacional. He's arguably the greatest club coach at River Plate. He won 2 Copa Libertadores with them. He was most recently at Al Ittihad. He played at DC United in MLS, so he knows the system. A great coach that could be attainable and, again, is available. Wilfried Nancy is probably the guy that a lot of people are looking at within Major League Soccer, along with Steve Cherundolo. But Wilfried Nancy, again, coached with Montreal Impact and Columbus Crew. He won the MLS Cup last year. He got to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final this year and is probably the hottest coach in the league right now. Jim Curtin, Philadelphia Union coach since 2014, part of the U.S. system, former men's national team player, absolutely wants the job. He has made no bones about the fact that he wants this job, and maybe this is the opportunity for him to get it. And then finally, Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry coached at Monaco. He coached the Montreal Impact. He played in the league. He coached at Belgium as an assistant. Obviously, he's the EPL playing legend. Now he's the France men's Olympic coach and could be available post-Olympics. Also has indicated out there in the past that this would be a job he would be interested in taking. So that would be my list of coaches that I would consider. Guys that would be ready to embrace this unique opportunity to take us into a home World Cup. That's not to say that I'll be upset with another coach. There are coaches that I don't think would be at the level of these coaches, but I would be fine with them. Obviously, if we pulled off a miracle in getting a Jurgen Klopp, I would be pleasantly surprised. And make no mistake, that would be a miracle signing, and people need to treat it as such. And that brings me to my last point before I get out of here. Whatever happens, whichever coach ends up as the next coach of the U.S. men's national team, we got to be better as a fan base about getting behind him and getting behind this team. We have a World Cup coming to our country in less than 2 years. And I meant it on the last episode when I said that we can't waste the next 2 years. That we includes us as fans. It includes all of you out there, includes me as well. We need to get serious as a fan base and get behind this team because that is going to be a huge part of this process. If the coach that you want or that you thought we should get ends up not being the next coach, that doesn't mean you should resort to the wildness that was the discourse surrounding Gregg Berhalter. No matter what Gregg did, he couldn't do anything right for too much of the fan base, and we need to do better. And we need to give the next coach that respect that in many ways was denied to Berhalter. You got what you wanted. Berhalter is out. But as I said, that doesn't automatically mean your coach is coming in. And you should know that short of them hiring me, the coach that comes in will be fully capable of leading this team, and you should give that person the time to do so. Accountability should continue to be distributed, sure. But let's be serious about learning from this and improving, each and every one of us, because we all need to get ready for World Cup, not just the team. And we, you and me, us, cannot waste these next 2 years. That would do it for episode 139 of the USA Soccer Cast. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, and we are on YouTube as well. Find us on both at USA Soccercast. Subscribe, rate, and review our episodes. It really helps and is greatly appreciated. Don't forget, we have affiliate programs with a ton of places to get you the gear you love and help you travel to see your favorite teams play or watch them from the comfort of your home. Head to our Linktree, linktree.com/USA Soccercast to learn more. Click the links to all of those sites and support the show in the process. And then finally, we have our stimulus store. We got the gear you need to be ready for the summer and fall of soccer, so you should get on that right now. We'll talk to you again soon, y'all.